Well, yes, we're live. Thank you again, everybody who's joined us this time around. This is our next session in our vendor interview series. This time we're really pleased with speaking with David Flesch from Freshworks. But before we bring David to the stage, for those of you who've not joined us before, I'm Daniel Gilby. I'm an account manager here at Xcession. And Xcession, for those of you who are unaware, I'm just going to flash up a slide for this just to show. We're
a newly prepared slide.
Newly prepared slide, very excited. New format for these sessions. I'm not going to read everything out on the slide there, but take a moment to glance through that. But we're a managed services, consultancy and implementation partner. We also do a whole bunch of other things. So take a look at the website if and when you get time. Sunil, a few words from you, please.
Thank you, Dan. So Sunil Dougal, CRO at Xcession. More than 10 years now in the ITSM, ESM world, and really excited to have David with us because Freshworks has been a partner of Xcession for a number of years now. The business and the products have come on leaps and bounds, so we're going to learn lots this morning.
Fantastic. And without further ado, just before we bring David to the stage, if you've got questions, give us a thumbs up, add some comments. We'll get to all the questions and things post the session, but please do engage. Okay, David, welcome. Great to have you with us.
Thanks so much, guys. It's great to be here.
I don't know if before we get into the kind of the Q&A, if you wanted to give us a little introduction to yourself, that would be very good, I think, for the audience.
Yeah. So thank you. My name is, as you said, David Flesch. I'm Vice President of Product Marketing at Freshworks. Focused on our Freshservice product as well as our Neo platform. I've been in the IT enterprise kind of software space for 25 years plus. So this is a topic near and dear to my heart. I've had the opportunity to work with many customers at multiple different vendors in this space. So I'm excited to be here.
Good stuff. David, we are really excited to hear all of the war wounds as well as the successes of your career. So we'll try and squeeze it into half an hour. Shall we kick off?
Yeah, let's get into the questions. Sonal, I know you had a really good opener. Started for 10.
All right. So David, I guess the probably the point to start is to try and just understand a little bit more about Freshworks as an organization and how they are sort of positioning themselves in the marketplace. So maybe you could give us a feel for that, and then maybe, as you said, your focus is Freshservice, maybe then just kind of drill in a little bit to Freshservice and how you think that fits in the sort of broader marketplace today.
Yeah, sure. So Freshworks started in actually the customer support space. So we have kind of three core pillars that we bring to market: customer service, CRM, sales and marketing, and then our IT and employee service management solutions. All of that's on our Neo platform. So it provides that commonality of workflows, analytics, AI across the platform. The company was founded in Chennai. I'm actually in Chennai now, which is kind of the company's heart and soul. And Garish, our CEO, really founded the company to deliver solutions to the Fortune 5 million, not just to the Fortune 500, right? And so that's really been kind of the founding approach that we have been going to market is really creating solutions for organizations of all sizes that are solving real problems for them and not introducing new problems as a part of the software itself.
Okay, so that's really
on Freshservice specifically. This is. Oh.
Sorry, David, go for it. There's a little bit of a lag. You carry on.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not sure which side that's on, but yeah. So I was just saying with Freshservice, this is the solution that we have been working on that is really focused on helping customers manage their IT estate, as well as we've recently entered into employee service management. So we have a solution that comprehensively covers things like IT service management, operations management, asset management, and then extends those service management best practices across the organization. And the approach that we've really taken has been to be able to deliver enterprise-grade solutions without enterprise cost and complexity. And so as we are looking at how do we approach developing our software, providing the solutions to customers, that's really first and foremost. It's how do we create capabilities that are going to meet the needs of our customers, and do that in a way that's giving them kind of the maximum usability, right? It's how do you get the people in your organization to adopt the solution across the various different user types and be able to make it easy to roll out, easy to maintain, and easy to extend. And that's really where we see this sweet spot with our customers, right? Our customers are really looking at how can they digitize kind of their core processes in their organization, and how can they do that quickly without investing a whole lot on kind of building out the ongoing infrastructure and management of the IT solutions, so that they're really driving kind of those business outcomes and transforming the way that they're delivering services.
So that's I'm really interested, I think, in the you said that Girish's objective around the Fortune 5 million, right? And then how that impacts on the philosophy behind the technology. So, this concept of being able to deliver an enterprise-grade application, as you said, without the enterprise-grade administration requirement that often accompanies that. But that must be a real challenge, right? To achieve that. So, I mean, with your background in the ITSM world, how do you think Freshservice, scores on that sort of, if 10 was they've absolutely nailed it, there's nothing else to do. I'm sure it's not a 1 or a 0, but where do you think they've got on that? Because, like I say, that's a tough gig, I think.
Yeah. Right. No, I mean, great question, Sunil. And, you're never done, right? There's always things that customers need. There's always opportunities to create new opportunity or new value for customers, right? So, we're never done, right? What I would say is different in our approach is, and what our customers really take up is, there are vendors out there that offer, tons of features, and, that's not us, right? There are vendors out there that offer kind of maximum flexibility, and where you can get in and you can, do coding and kind of do anything you want. And that's not really our approach, right? Our approach is, and this is kind of an analogy I like to use, is, you want a skyscraper, right, to put your business into, right, your organization. Well, there's different ways you can adopt that skyscraper. One is the skyscraper can be built and you're going to design the layout of the floors to meet the needs, or you can go in and you can build your own skyscraper, right? Our customers are not the ones that are going to go build their own skyscrapers, right? They want that solution where the framework's there and they can go in and they can do the design. And that's something that our customers really love, is how quickly they are able to create new workflows and edit those workflows and continue to kind of automate work across their organizations. And they're truly doing that without having to do developers. And that's, that is something that has really been important to our customers. And so for us, it's continuing to focus on how do we drive that kind of simplicity. Something else our customers really love is how quickly they're able to get, their agents onto the platform and using the service management capabilities, right? We have customers that are literally, taking a day to get their agents trained, and then they're switching us on and they're using it. And so that fundamental approach of building simplicity and ease of use into the products is something that we really take to heart. And, it's not easy, right? Making something simple is not an easy thing to do when we're talking about enterprise grade, right? We're still talking about solving complicated problems, but it's solving those problems without adding, additional problems on top of those.
Yeah, I really like the skyscraper analogy. By the way, that's very, very good. If you haven't trademarked that, David, I might steal that one day in the future. So you've got this big, by virtue of what you've described there, this broad set of customers, and one of the things that we see, particularly in the ITSM space, and we'll come on to the kind of enterprise service management piece in a little bit, if that's okay. But in the ITSM space, there is, quite a lot of focus sometimes placed on the maturity of, the IT organization and their ability to leverage, the capabilities within the tool set. And often what we see is, that there is a gap between ambition and what's achieved, right? And some celebrations I can see for my question, which hasn't come yet.
I think that's the 2 thumbs up. I don't know what's happened there, but that's very cool.
But so I guess my question, if I haven't lost the train of my thought now, is, when you look at your ideal customer, right? I mean, where do you see them on that IT maturity spectrum? Are you looking for people who are, down at the bottom end because that ease of adoptability of the solution fits perhaps the day one challenges, or are you looking for maybe the more complex, more mature, set of processes and organizations?
Yeah, another great question. So definitely the 2 thumbs up are warranted. So
let's see if it works for me. No,
no, sorry, Dan.
No. Okay.
So really, there are varying degrees, and as you said, where kind of customers perceive themselves in terms of maturity and how that gets applied by vendors and analysts and things like that can vary. So again, we are not, and there are certainly large, we see, large multinational organizations or, organizations with very complicated workflows, and they're doing a lot of, bespoke automations and things like that, and they need tool sets with maximum flexibility, right? Our customers tend to not be looking at, hey, how can they maximize that flexibility and the complexity that goes along with it. They're looking at, hey, we have specific business outcomes that we need to be able to achieve, and we need to be able to achieve those within finite amount of time and a finite amount of budget, right? And what's interesting is a lot of our customers are actually coming from, having used those tool sets that have, all the features you would ever imagine and all the flexibility you'd ever imagine. And what they've realized is it's really hard to get value out of that in the kind of time frames that they're looking for, and with the kind of skill sets they have available to them, right? And so really what we look at is, the customers that are really going to benefit from our solution are, they're not going to build out those developer teams to go create a bunch of stuff, right? They're looking at, hey, we want to be able to get this stuff, the products in. We want to be able to manage our IT estate. So it's the ITSM core components. It's the operational components, right? It's getting the asset management under control and do that as quickly as we can with the kind of ease of use where our teams can actually use the tool and get the use out of it. And then because they're doing that, they're really able to start focusing on kind of the other business of IT, right? Which is delivering great service quality, which is, driving new transformative outcomes for their business, new digitization projects, And, that's really where we see a big benefit. And that's where our customers come into play.
Yeah. I think, I mean, maybe this is partly because of Freshworks as an organization, but there is a general mood of change, in my opinion, in the ITSM marketplace to move in the direction for many organizations, not everyone, right? Because as you said, there is the organization that wants to custom build its own skyscraper. Yeah.
Yep.
But there is a general shift for organizations to recognize that actually there is tooling out there that can take them a very long way in their journey, and really a very long way, without actually that massive investment of time, resources, money that is needed. And just to make the point that actually the Freshservice product is extremely capable anyway. I mean, I bet you haven't seen many customers, and we haven't seen many customers that are sitting there going, my business is significantly impacted in a negative way because the toolset doesn't offer this functionality, right? I haven't had one conversation, Dan, not sure if you have, but I don't think so. Anyone saying, I wish Freshservice did this, we might have to look at something else because it doesn't, right? So, it's an incredibly capable tool. Could we just talk a little bit about the ITSM versus ESM approach that Freshservice has? Because we've talked quite a lot now about getting IT systems embedded in the tool set, about getting your assets under control, etc. So what's the sort of thinking in Freshworks around IT versus enterprise service management?
Yeah. So it's important, right? And the IT organizations have a history of best practices and processes around service delivery, right? And so being able to leverage those best practices across the organization, can certainly drive that next level of employee experience, right? And we all know that nowadays employee experience is becoming increasingly important, right? Top of mind for many leaders, not just IT leaders, but business, CEOs, CFOs, is, hiring great talent, retaining great talent. And as we're going through kind of multi-generational employees, right, meeting the needs and expectations of those employees is becoming, increasingly challenging. We also saw with the pandemic, right, a significant change in the way that employees want to engage and need to engage with the organization, right? So much more reliance on self-service, much more reliance on automation. And so as we've looked at enterprise service management, what we've looked at is how do we take the same great automation that we're doing for IT, extend that into other parts of the organization. And one of the things that's really important for organizations is business privacy, right? So when you think about HR and you think about the data that HR has, there's data in there that should not be available to the general population, right? Or even to, say, your IT population. Yeah. So those data sets and the privacy around that data becomes increasingly important. The workflows that are automated, orchestrated based on that data become increasingly important. So being able to segment and build kind of privacy constraints around the data so that the right people have the right access to the data at the right time is very important. So that was kind of the first approach we took, and we call that our workspaces. And so that's building that business privacy, right? That data privacy, that workflow privacy into the solution overall. And then being able to, again, extend out the workflows that we've been, offering and building out capabilities on the IT side into the other parts of the organization. And then offering capabilities like, our service portal, a lot of the AI automation, all of those great things, right, on top of it. And then, of course, building in integrations, orchestrations with the tools that those departments work with, right? Because there's certainly a set of tools that IT relies on, but when you get into HR, facilities, et cetera, there's a different set of tools, right? Your HR systems of record, right? Being able to connect that data into the workflows and driving automations around that. So that's really been the approach that we've taken, kind of a two-pronged approach. One is driving that employee service management and access across the organization. So again, the business privacy, the workflow automation, the omni-channel interactions that employees can take so that they can engage with the business in the channels that they work with, whether it's Teams or Slack. And then double downing right now, we're currently really double downing onto HR, right? Building out some core capabilities that are important to HR organization as they relate to onboarding, employee retirements, things like managing life cycle events and things like that. So those are kind of the areas that we're investing in the enterprise service management space.
Well, what's your view on customer adoption in the fresh service or Freshworks world of these broader ESM capabilities? Is there a real uptick? I mean, my general feel in the market is that there is IT leaders and business leaders are starting to go, actually, do you know what? There really is a genuine need for this. There really is an opportunity. But are you seeing it as well?
We're seeing a huge uptick. It's been amazing. So we actually released these capabilities with workspaces at the end of 2022. And we saw a massive take up of those capabilities by customers, existing customers, and new customers, right? It kind of blew our minds, the amount of success that we saw there. So we have, thousands of agents that are now using these workspaces. The customer adoption has been fantastic, and it has been, great feedback from customers where the amount of workspaces that they're putting in place, we didn't even fathom how many, how important that business privacy, right, that data privacy and the segmentation is. And so we are seeing customers adopting, dozens of these workspaces in their organizations because there are all these different ways that work needs to flow, and automation needs to take place, and it needs to do it in ways where, it's only available to the right audiences, the right agents, the right parts of the organization. The other thing that we did is we have licensing for non-IT users. That is a lower cost licensing because, it's not the full IT management suite of capabilities. And so that, is another incentive for customers to kind of take on these capabilities and drive these experiences across the organization.
That's very interesting. I think, I don't know what your thoughts are, David, but that wider services adoption and provision, it's fair to say that many, if not all kinds of services now are available in a digital fashion. So that's going to be certainly a key driver as well moving forwards as people recognize the need to have some sort of standardization around all that. But what I wanted to ask, and sort of no conversation like this would be complete, I think, without talking a little bit about AI. And that is seemingly the hot topic at the minute. Can you share with us some sort of views and insights into the AI capabilities in the fresh world?
Yeah, absolutely. And you're right, Dan. I mean, AI, we saw that blow up in 2023. Gen AI kind of took over the zeitgeist, right, of the marketplace. And I think it's top of mind for everybody we talk to, right? For good reason, right? For both pros and cons, right? There's, for all of the promise of AI and especially Gen AI, there's the concerns that customers have around security and data privacy and all the things reliability, right, of the responses. And so all of that is, of course, very important. We've actually been doing AI for quite a while. Even in 2021, we were offering very early versions of generative AI. We've been doing predictive AI, core analytics for quite a while. In 2023, we really did double down on Gen AI, and we have been, delivering on those solutions to date. We have in market our first release, our first, generally available release of what we call our Co-pilot. So Freddy is our AI moniker, and Freddy Co-pilot is really the assistant to the agents in the organization, right? And helping them get information quicker, helping them create summaries, resolutions more quickly, and be able to drive things like knowledge articles based on a summary of all that happened as incidents are being resolved. And so we've recently, or we're just coming out of beta with that. It's available for customers to purchase, and we're starting to see some really great results there, savings in time from an agent perspective. The creation, which is really important when you think about how do you start defining the data that goes into your AI responses, knowledge articles and things like that become even more important as kind of a reference. And AI is helping create those much more quickly and efficiently than they had in the past. So with Freddy AI, Freddy Co-pilot, we really look at driving agent efficiencies and consistencies, right? Taking the overhead of having to write summaries, resolutions, and those things out of from the agent, and having the AI do that and being able to do it, drives a lot of efficiencies there. We're in beta with our self-service capabilities. We've already had virtual agents that are driven by AI. So now we're looking at that next gen generative AI virtual agents. So that's a big thing that we are working on. And then we also have what we call Freddy Insights, and that is really looking at how do we help decision makers, how do we help them make better decisions, get better insights, and do it faster, right? You think about today, a big problem or a big challenge is just mining all of the data that's in the system and identifying what are the things I need to focus on as a leader, and how do I get ahead of it, right? Instead of having to, do analytics, slice into the data, look at how do I drill down and, look at new areas to go dig into to try to solve problems, whether it's root causes on infrastructure, process optimization, breakdowns in, how people are actually responding to the requests that are coming to them. We're seeing, the real opportunity with generative AI for business decision makers is to be able to be monitoring that data, be able to make predictive, provide predictive results. Hey, here's something we think you should be looking at based on the trends that we're seeing within the environment. And then also providing a conversational interface so that instead of having to be a data scientist or, somebody who's, really familiar with the, analytic tools, being able to say, hey, tell me more about where is this trend really showing up, right? Is it a specific, piece of equipment that's causing it? Is it a specific vendor that's causing it? Is it a specific region, geo, right? Help me get to that information much more quickly, and being able to do it by asking the kinds of questions that we would ask, as humans sitting around a table. Hey, I need to know more. Here's one.
We're having some challenges with David's connectivity.
I'm thanking
connectivity issue there, seems like.
Right.
You have to fill the gap, Dan.
Yeah, sorry. But I mean, what I was going to
and
follow
seeing if that can
on.
get me to the answer. So we see that as, really a
We lost
All right,
you a little
guys.
bit,
I think
David.
I'm back. Sorry about
We
that.
lost you for just a second. No, it's quite all right. Just to be the timekeeper, we've just hit the 30-minute marker. But interesting what you've just been talking about, the data analytics, because for me, that falls really nicely into the fact that we're going beyond IT service management now. It's going into the broader enterprise. So you've got all of these extra additional relevant data points feeding into your data sets there, and being able to sort of say, right, why have I had these kind of challenges here? And whereas before, when you didn't have that kind of digital footprint of all the data points, it would have been harder to draw out, actually, it was a problem with facilities, or it was a problem with something else sort of beyond that remit. But now, being able to ask the questions, as you say, in a human-like fashion, to pull out that information and get actionable insights is incredibly, incredibly important, and will continue to be so for who knows, until the next big thing, right? Just again, we've kind of run to 30 minutes. Obviously, there's a lot more we could talk about. David, thank you very much for your time. I don't know if you've any kind of closing commentary or wrap-up comments you'd like to add. Sunil, if you've got anything at all, just to quickly cover off. But this has been great for me, certainly.
Yeah, no, I appreciate the time. Sunil, Dan, it's been great. Love having the conversations. We are in exciting times, right? And it's funny, I've been doing this for 25 plus years, and it's always in exciting times. But we truly are in this transformative way that people are doing work. The employee expectations are changing, and being able to meet those needs as modern IT organizations is becoming increasingly important. And being able to have the right tools in place, as well as the right processes and people in place to be able to do that, is really going to be job one for IT leaders. So excited to be here. The future is going to be amazing. And again, thanks very much for this opportunity.
No, thank you, David. Really, really great session, and thanks for sharing your insights with us today.
Yeah, so, David, thank you very much from my side as well. I think it's been fascinating, and we'd love to have you on again at some point in the future. So we'll make it happen.
Anytime. I really enjoyed it.
Great. Well, to the audience, thank you very much for joining us today. If you'd like to find out more about the Fresh platform, the Neo platform, and the Freshworks suite of products, please get in touch and let us know what you think. Many thanks, everybody.